Hey guys, Living Visionary here. Today we're going to be talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Alright, so if you don't know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is about, well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Alright, so if you don't know, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a show, of course, about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they go off to fight a terrorist group while also trying to basically save the title of Captain America because the government gives it to someone else when it rightfully belongs to Falcon, and it's basically about him trying to get those rights back. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the fact that it reminds me a lot of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, where they start off almost the exact same ways, where the main characters are jumping out of a plane to go and fight in this special Black Ops military fight or whatever. And except, Captain America does it on a boat, but Falcon does it in the sky. And essentially one of the funny things is they fight the same exact villain too. They're both fighting Backdrop the Leaper in both individual movies. Like, the entire show has that same exact vibe as that entire movie, but just like on a smaller scope. If anything, I think the only big difference between these movies is the fact that Falcon just becomes a lot cooler of a character, along with the Winter Soldier. I mean, he's not as cool because in the movie he was like killing people. He was awesome. He's not as awesome here, but his character development is growing by a lot. Speaking of characters, let's talk about Sam. The Falcon becomes such an amazing character in this show. In all the past movies, it felt like wasted potential for Anthony Mackie. It felt like anyone could do this role. In every other movie, he wasn't doing anything. He was just the guy who could fly. He was Cap's second best friend, and it felt like he wasn't really all that interesting. He was just one of the worst Avengers. But in this show, his character is heightened to such an amazing scope, simply because we automatically see that he has a family. He has his sister and his nephews. We see that he has almost his history to him. We see that he has daily struggles. Even from being a superhero, he still has actual problems in life. Like just with the simple thing of trying to get loans and stuff and trying to, still live. And it's really amazing what they did with him. Throughout the show, we see multiple examples of why Steve Rogers chose him to be Captain America, Before, it didn't really make too much sense, but as we go through the show, as we truly see the Falcon develop as a character, we really see that he truly is one of the best people to become the new Captain America, and I actually am all for it. This show also develops him in ways that we've never seen, because before, in every other movie, he was just thrusted into battle after battle, from Captain America to Civil War to Infinity War to Endgame. He's just thrusted from battle to battle without having any time to really relax. But in this show, he has the time to relax, and he has the time to look back on his past, because in this show we find out that he truly does have PTSD from everything he's been through, from all the people he's murdered, from all the fights he's been in. You see that it really affected him so much more heavily than we ever thought it actually would. There's even some scenes where we see him in Wakanda and we see what he was doing before Infinity War. We see how he actually got over everything and how he's still struggling with that. Another amazing character that shows up in this show is John Walker. And he's such an amazing character, and he's only amazing because I hate him so much, and it's by design. The writers knew what they were doing. The writers tried to make him really conflicted. They tried to make everyone hate him, but there's also something about him where you can see there's goodness in him. He's a flawed character. He wants to do the right thing, but he's also suffering from his insecurities of whether or not he can even handle the mantle of Captain America, and it messes with him for the entire show. And the entire show, you're wondering where he's gonna actually go with all of this, if he's gonna be a good guy or a bad guy. Sharon Carter was also a pretty cool character in this, because you could basically see that there were actual stakes in Civil War. You can see that it actually did affect someone. It didn't really affect too many people too badly. I mean, it did, but she got the worst of it because she's still essentially a criminal. And no one pardoned her. Only the Avengers got pardoned because they're superheroes or whatever, but Sharon Carter herself was still actually screwed over from the events of trying to help Captain America and his entire renegade movement. Baron Zemo is actually pretty cool. We see that he has a lot of potential in the MCU. In this show, he becomes a lot more sassier. He gains a little bit more of a personality. Not to say that he didn't have a personality in Civil War. I liked his entire character in Civil War, but he's actually heightened in this show, and we see that there's a lot of potential for him for the rest of the series as a character, as an actual villain throughout the entire series. But the best character in this show is Isaiah Bradley. He is the personification of some of the themes in this show. He's just an amazing character overall. I can't really talk too much about why he's in this show or what he does because it's kind of spoilers, but he goes on these long monologues that are always beautiful, that always puts a tear to your eye. He has a tragic backstory. He represents the bitter black man in America, and he's just an amazing character that truly represents all of the themes in this show. And since we're on the topic of themes, let's talk about some of them. One of the themes of this show have to do with legacy. We saw in Endgame that, of course, spoilers for Endgame, but I mean, it's a few years old. It's a couple of years old now, so, you know, you didn't see it. But in Endgame, we see that Captain America gave him his shield and said, hey, you're the new Captain America, Sam. And Sam has to try to find a way to deal with that because, of course, you know, it wasn't originally for him. He's a black man. It's like, you know, just no one wants to accept that. He's not the image of what people think of Captain America are, and he doesn't think of himself as the image. So he has to go through the entire fact of, like, he has to try to figure out throughout the show whether or not he even wants to take up the mantle. Another major theme in the show has to do with PTSD and soldiers coming from war and having to deal with the fact that they come straight from war and they barely get any help when it comes to, you know, living financially or even with their mental health because, of course, they're just screwed up from it. And they just get these unhonorable discharges, and it's like there's nothing really in return for it, and that's one of the biggest problems that tries to focus around. But my personal favorite theme in the show has to do with basically black people, the black community in America, and whether or not we should even want to fight for a country that screwed us over in so many ways, you know? Now, personally, I don't like the answer they give to it in the show. I'll let you, if you watch the show, I'll let you figure it out on your own what the answer they give to it is. I personally don't like the answer to it. But either way, the entire conversation, the entire theme makes the show so interesting in a way, and that's where Isaiah Bradley comes in because he's one of those kind of veteran type characters who truly, you know, would despise America because of that. And of course with Sam, the whole, you know, protecting his country thing, becoming Captain America, being a black man at all, with the legacy, all the themes kind of come together because of that. And he needs to figure out whether or not he even really wants to even protect the country, whether he wants to really become Captain America and do what he thinks is right. When it comes to the plot, we see that Falcon and the Winter Soldier had to fight against a terrorist group called the Flag Smashers, who essentially hate the fact that people came back after Thanos' snap because a lot of people basically got comfortable, you know, a lot of people like moved to different places and whatever. And when people coming back, it means that those people have to like move out because, you know, the government doesn't want the new people who come back after the snap to just be homeless or whatever and lose their positions. Because a lot of people believe that they should have never came back because everyone got comfortable after, like, you know, 5 whole years. So this Flag Smashers want to revert everything back to that 5-year gap where they think everything was great. And they try to create their own New World Order. But weirdly enough, I don't know what their plan actually was. They just kind of took some super soldier serum, became really strong, and I think they tried to kill some politicians, but they didn't have an actual plan. At least I don't think so. If you watched the show already and you caught their plan, or please say down below in the comments what it actually was, but I didn't get it. They didn't seem to actually want to do anything, and the writers tried to make them seem very sympathetic, but they just only did really evil things the entire time, so I had no sympathy for these people, you know, and it was whatever. But I did like the entire plot line where Falcon has to get the shield back from the government to become Captain America. That was pretty cool, that was decent, but the rest of it just seemed like whatever, like a discount Captain America story, you know, like typical Marvel stuff. It wasn't bad, but it really wasn't that great. The ending didn't really feel like it meant anything. It felt like characters were just fighting because it's a Marvel movie. It just felt off. Like, it felt cool. Like, don't get me wrong. When Captain America, I guess Captain America now, Falcon, when Falcon like basically tries to honor the role of Captain America and he does all that stuff, it's really cool. I really like the fight in those terms of what it means for Sam Wilson. But besides that, I just didn't care about it all that much. It was just a normal fight. It was whatever. It was a normal Marvel ending, but it wasn't perfect. All in all, I'd have to give the show about 3 stars. It's an amazing show. It has amazing characters and amazing themes, but the plot isn't really all there. It's just it's just a typical Marvel thing, you know. It's not anything that's special. And I think it's really detrimental to the fact that it came out right after WandaVision, which was something that just blew everyone's minds, and it basically just went out of the box when it came to originality. And this show it had a really big detrimental part from the fact that it was supposed to come out before WandaVision, but because of COVID, everything got mixed around, and now it's after WandaVision, and that really ruined what could have been a lot of popularity for it almost being one of the first big Marvel shows. So for my recommendation level, it's like half and half. Like, you can see it if you want, but if you don't want to see it, then you're not missing out on too much. But I do recommend seeing it a little bit because it's still fun. Like I said, it has great characters, great themes. Its show is just whatever though. And that's basically my review on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you've seen the show, then, you know, comment what your opinions of it were down in the comments, of course. And yeah, see ya.